case regardless. So we're looking over at Angel. I think Ahri, wonderful pick, very strong pick in the mid lane at the moment, giving you a ton of that early pressure, and Angel has had some really strong performance on this, so Weibo already setting up for at least a nice mid lane and a nice bot lane as well.
Yeah, and Angel playing a ton of Ahri in that series against EDG as well. So this is very much a comfortable pick for him. Instant lock-ins, though, coming out from JDG. The Nautilus for missing, having that solid bot lane. Then Yagao wants the Veigar up against this Ahri, wants to deny that mobility.
We've actually seen this from JDG before, where they end up playing this Veigar going super well. I actually think it was against Weibo, so I love this pick. I think it kind of shuts down a lot of what Weibo are trying to do here, which, especially if they're going towards the Alistar pick here, like, get in on your face, make sure they're, like, up front, or up and personal with you. Veigar does really well in those scenarios. Aphelios does really well in those scenarios as well. So I think for Weibo, I actually would have preferred to see something like a kind of a long range support coming through here, or at least a long range damage dealers coming through, like the Jayces, these kind of things now, so you can actually try and play at range and avoid the Aphelioses and also the cages that this Veigar can put down.
Yeah, kind of surprising to see the Alistar here from On when the Rakan is available. Rakan has been easily his signature pick, but kind of a similar vibe, right? Still having that hard engage. The Veigar that we talked about has been taken off the board, so the kind of Lee Sin and Veigar, I would say, are the two premier jungle picks here. It is worth mentioning, Kanavi has been known to play a little bit of the Kindred this split. It's kind of bringing that old bit of spice back. We'll see if that's going to happen, though, as the Volibear taken off the board. Hecarim's still open.
Yeah, I'm curious what we end up going with here. Like, the Xin Zhao is still available, did receive some nerfs though. And we've kind of seen Trundle coming out as a pick that Kanavi likes to go towards a lot. So I'd be surprised if we see SofM go towards that. But honestly, SofM has been all over the place with his jungle picks. Like, we've seen him bring out the Zed in the last series against EDG. So you never really know what he's going to bring out.
I feel like that's the story across the board for Weibo, right? You never really know what these players are going to play. These are some of the most flexible players across the board in the entire league. Like Angel especially, really, really versatile. But then TheShy will bring out anything. SofM will bring out anything. And they are hovering that Zed Dagda, as you mentioned it. But looks like they're going to go for the top lane pick. Blind Jayce up there.
Yeah, I mean, it feels like JDG are trying to bait this, though, because you've got the Malphite in the Tryndamere ban. Like, you're saying, hey, look, go for the Jayce pick. We know you want to, and TheShy's kind of played into that, said, well, let's see what you got. 369, hovering the Sion here. So, looks like JDG are actually just going to go for this, like, full-out team fight with the majority of their damage being situated on towards Hope. So, I think for Kanavi, we're going to see a lot of attention down onto this bottom half of the map. And for Weibo, they're trying to play with this range advantage that we talked about, right? Where you've already got the Jayce, the Jinx, the Ahri who can do really well. So trying to see if they can avoid what JDG are bringing to the table. But it's going to be tough with the Sion and the Trundle there to help you start these fights off.
I'm really curious where SofM goes. It's kind of surprising, honestly, to see that in this series specifically, jungle counter pick is what we're going to go all the way down to. But a Xin Zhao versus a Trundle? I always thought that Trundle was the pick to go into the Xin Zhao.
Yeah, and I think that's why he's kind of reconsidering here. I'm actually not sure what you want to go for here. Like, the thing is, so I don't really agree with the Nocturne either, because the identity of Weibo is like, hey, we're going to play at range. We're going to try and, like, make sure that we can poke you from afar. And I kind of feel like for SofM, you nearly wanted like a big tank here. So then when JDG are going for that engage, you can actually like disengage to a certain extent. Because I think that's kind of something that's missing a little bit here. I mean, Alistar can provide some of that, but you don't really have a huge amount of disengage. And if JDG ever get in on top of you, it's very easy for them to quickly dispatch members of Weibo. So the Nocturne, you want to dive in, whereas the rest of your team wants to play at range. I mean, maybe you can finish off the low health members, but I don't know. It feels like trying to play into JDG is what they are really looking for. So I'm not sure how the Nocturne's going to fit into this.
I will say, Dagda, you're asking for SofM to play a tank here. SofM's willing to build Warmogs on anyone. It's very possible that this Nocturne is a tank. Like, this is SofM we're talking about. Anything could happen. But I will say, it does lean into their pick style, right? Like, they see someone, they go.
That is true. And it will give them a lot of like pressure on side lanes if that's what they want to try and play for with TheShy. Also, as you say, I think we've seen Chem Tank Nocturne before. I hated it. I never wanted to see it again. but technically it exists. So we'll see. Maybe that is the game plan here. Because you can always absorb then the engage with Sion with the spell shield and then run away. But yeah, I think from the early stages at least, we'll be looking to see if SofM can farm quickly till 6 and then trying to be a nuisance with the Nocturne, especially if you can link up with Angel. Like, that is a lot of very quick pick that you can make work.
And I'm loving the draft coming out from JDG as well because it's so slow, which is the opposite of what we've been saying about how they like to play, right? But it's exactly how you can beat Weibo, because Weibo often really inactive in the early game where you just lock in a bunch of scaling. Maybe you get to scale up for free. That's what JDG are going to be hoping for as they step on into the game. And it means a lot of the onus in this game will be on Hope's shoulders. And I want to quickly talk about these two AD carries because Hope versus Huanfeng is actually a really interesting matchup, not just in terms of the way that these two players play, but historically, these guys came into the league in the same year in 2020 spring. Both of these AD carries joined the LPL, and both of them were on big organizations training behind two of the genius AD carries of the LPL. We had Hope training on EDG behind iBoy, and we had Huanfeng training on IG behind Jackie Love. And it feels like Huanfeng has kind of lived out that Jackie Love story a little bit. He went to Worlds on his first year, went all the way to the finals and made a name for himself on the international stage, whereas Hope, we're yet to see that story truly unfold. It feels like he's not had that same opportunity to step up and prove himself, but with this JDG roster, it feels like maybe he really has a shot this time around of making his name known internationally.
Yeah, and I know for a lot of us in the casting team, like, we loved Hope when he played on EDG. We're like, this guy's a beast. I'm so excited that he's back on a team now and kind of getting the opportunity that he deserves. And it feels like in this game as well, a lot of what JDG need to have achieved is going to be through Hope. Like, you're looking at this roster, you're like 369 a tank, he's not going to get attention. Yagao wants to try and farm up on this Veigar, so you're looking at Hope to see if he's actually going to be able to step up and be the big carry here. And when we talk about the game plan for JDG as well, being so facilitated around like neutrals and objectives, well, what JDG often try and do is if they can't play towards Hope, they'll try and play through 369. You don't really have that opportunity here. They'll try and play through Rift Heralds. Don't really have that opportunity here. So for Kanavi, a lot of this early pressure is going to be towards this bot side of the map.
Yeah, and you can see that he's just finishing his Grand Path. He'll go towards his blue and then can maybe go back down towards that bottom side as his Krugs he has ignored on this first clear, which not super surprising on the Trundle, not super great at the AoE camps, but we'll see if he does return down. He's been spotted on a ward as he heads towards this top lane. So TheShy has full information here. He is TheShy, though. It wouldn't surprise me if he still got caught by the gang. We can see SofM is nearby as well, and I think Kanavi realizes he's got to back off.
Yeah, I mean, he realizes there must have been a ward somewhere. Will now just kind of spot that one dying river, but he's still sticking around. TheShy knows, though, and Nocturne can make his way up here. Kanavi stick around for so long.
He's going to try and make the play happen in this top side. Anyway, TheShy just going to jump over to him. I don't think he's even going to need to flash. Maybe, though. Will have to get away from the Pillar of Filth there. Was afraid of the knock-up from 369, so good respect out from TheShy. Here comes SofM. I don't think it's going to happen with the way that the lane is positioned right now.
No, so Kanavi's still putting some good pressure here for 369. You could see Angel had started to roam up as well, trying to see if he could help out on this top side. And this is exactly what I want to see from Weibo. One of the things we said, not a huge amount of interaction between the lanes. Well, if SofM is already starting to see Angel help him out playing towards TheShy, this is how you shut down JDG's early game and stop them from being able to snowball these team fights and objectives.
Can't invade if you don't have Cryo. It's going to be on taking a bit of damage here. 80 carries trading back and forth, but I don't think much more can come of this one. I mean, it's Jinx Aphelios down in the bottom side. Now, no Cryo for SofM on the bottom lane, but he should be able to finish this crab off before anyone gets here. Does have his smite if it's needed. We'll be able to get both crabs off the back of the early shenanigans between these two junglers.
Yeah, and it's not the end of the world. I mean, for Kanavi, he has very clearly made his mark saying, hey, look, I'm more interested in trying to help out my lanes. And that's what we said for Kanavi, starting to see him play more for his lanes, even stopping the reset here, because Angels might be overextended, but looks like is he just going for TheShy again?
Kanavi has been so indecisive so far this game, though. Like, the amount of time we've seen him just in this top river, channeling recalls, then cancelling. TheShy's going to be in trouble here. they should be able to guarantee this kill, right? Has no flash available. Phase Rush is not going to be there because he's gone for first strike here. The pillar should be available. Knocks away from the knockup, though. Kanavi saving that pillar for so long. Guarantees the kill. Gets himself first blood.
Yeah, on the upside, though, SofM going to invade and try and punish Kanavi for how long he spent on this top side. SofM already gone for that full reset and already completely cleared out his camp, so now he gets access to the bottom side here, can reset again, move in towards his own top side, and at least this Nocturne, as you can see from that CS difference, is accelerating quickly. Yagao, though, nice bit of trading here in the mid lane, and honestly, Yagao's been doing a good job here against Angel in this mid lane. Every time we seem to be looking here, Yagao's got a really good trade.
Yeah, CS going to be relatively even, and remember, Ahri has that sustain built into the kit, so Angel's okay with taking a couple of hits if it means he can harass. Unfortunately, he's not really been able to get much harass down in return onto Yagao, so not finding an advantage early on. But Kanavi, moving towards his bot side, remember what we said. JDG loved the dragons in the early game, and you can see Kanavi already moving over, but might even make a visit down towards the bottom lane. Looks like it is just going to be the Drake. They're pulling it up. Angel can't contest, and SofM reset.
Yeah, it feels like we're on like completely opposite stories here for JDG versus Weibo. Like JDG love to go for these early dragons. Weibo don't bother in the slightest because SofM wants to try and like farm up as quickly as possible across all games that he plays, make sure he's getting an individual advantage, and then use that in like mid-game skirmishes. So you're kind of going to see two opposite sides of the coins, and it's going to be a test here, for Weibo to see who's going to be able to come out on top when we get to that point.
Yeah, you can see TheShy has now picked up a cull for himself. He realizes he's just going to be farming in this lane, falling a little bit behind because of that kill that happened. But really, the lead right now is all in that jungle. Look at the CS difference. That kill is going to do a lot to even the gold up, though, luckily. And it means that when you look at the top of the scoreboard, it is a slight lead for JDG. And with them getting that first Drake as well, it's a good advantage for JDG to kick us off. And considering we just talked about the compositions, and it's all heavy scaling for JDG, we talked about the late game. Well, if they can control the early game as well, that's pretty good news.
Yeah, and for Weibo, this is why I need to see them starting to be proactive. Because I think TheShy is going to be surprisingly strong in this game. He's got the first strike, he's got the cull. Like, even though he's down a kill, he's going to actually be very strong when the mid game comes around because of all the extra gold that is going to just be put into his build. But when you look at the rest of the comp, like, if you are going to be in a position where you're trying to fight up against JDG, they have so many great engage tools, so many ways of slowing you down, getting in on top of the composition that wants to play in range, that if you aren't in a lead, if you aren't the ones that are setting up early, you're going to be in a terrible position as Weibo. And at the moment, SofM is just trying to farm till 6, but as soon as he hits 6, I need to see action from SofM.
Yeah, we're always wanting to see a bit of action from SofM, and I have to say, I'm surprised at the lack of focus on that top side. I wasn't sure if Missing was going to go for a hook there. Doesn't look like it. But we talked about these two top laners, and I love how 369 has gone for the Sion in this series, because A, it denies it from TheShy. It is his most picked of the split. Like, TheShy has loved the Sion, but B, it shows that change in the top laner that we talked about, right? He was criticized on top esports for not being flexible, for not being willing to play weak side, for not being willing to change his playstyle and change his champion pool. This year, that has absolutely not been the case with 369. He's a changed player.
I mean, that feels like the story for both these top laners, right? Even TheShy is starting to pick up more tanks. It feels like both these guys have kind of grown and moved on as the split has come through. And even there was the famous interview, I think Lyric has quoted a good few times with TheShy, where like he had that interview where he's like, I can play tanks, it's just that my team isn't good enough to play them when he was on IG. And look, he's come on to Weibo, he's happy to play them. So I think the proof is in the pudding, but we'll have to see his JDG now looking for SofM.
Well, I do love pudding, but SofM will be able to walk away. Won't see the proof, at least for the time being. Remember, JDG loving these neutral objectives, and they're going to go for a Herald this time around, and moving everyone on the map up here. Weibo, you know, sort of half answering, right? They've moved their own AD carry up as well. Huanfeng, you can see, was just in the mid lane there. Throws a rocket up, or at least throws some flowers over towards JDG. Maybe getting a little flirty on the Rift. But crucially, not trading anywhere else on the map, right? They could have just left Huanfeng bot if they weren't going to contest properly.
Yeah, I think they were surprised by JDG committing, because usually JDG don't full commit like this for the Rift Herald. Weibo are kind of the ones that are more willing to, like, move a lot of resources up to that objective. But I think JDG are just kind of playing it smart. They're like, look, realistically, how do Weibo get ahead in this game? How can we shut that down? And Rift Herald is probably their best way to do that. So instead, they just rotate fully up to that top side. If they lose a couple of turret plates, not the end of the world. But if the towers start going down and Weibo are able to start moving around the map, that's when JDG can run into issues. So they're just trying to shut that down early. Maybe even get some of that turret gold as well into Hope. Because as he said, like a lot of that consistent DPS is going to be coming from that AD carry of JDG.
Yeah, I want to flip that scaling conversation around though and talk Weibo's composition, because, you know, we said at level 6 we need to see SofM making plays. We said that this is a comp that wants to find picks and stuff. Well, that's not what we're seeing from Weibo so far, and maybe that'll come in a minute, but for now we're just talking scaling. So in the late game, what does this comp look like?
For Weibo, like, it's kind of hard, because what you really need to do with this style of composition is try to get yourself posted up early on objectives. So, like, the idea for a lot of what they want to do is, like, use TheShy, use Huanfeng to try and poke you down, and then have, like, Angel coming in off a flank, maybe On trying to set up a big team fight engage in the back line, SofM following up on top of that, and, like, punishing the low health members that have kind of been picked apart by Huanfeng and TheShy. But that's going to be really hard to do if you don't have control, because as you can see here, with 6 seconds until Dragon, JDG have already moved in, and now you don't really get that opportunity to get the poke down. And for JDG, like, look at the ability to just control these entrances into the river, with like Yagao, with Missing, Hope with the Graviton, even 369 just standing there with a big old axe going, come on, who's next? Like, you just don't get into these objectives.
Oh, SofM, good little spell shield there, blocks the hook from Missing, realizes they're trying to get onto him here. Angel trying to clear the wave, and will narrowly get out of that event horizon. I feel like that we're toying with the idea of some action here, Dagda, but it's not happening just yet. As, like, look, if you're a fan of Weibo, you can expect this. This is standard Weibo gameplay. They like to play it slow in the early game, but from JDG, this is kind of surprising. But I guess, like I said earlier, they've just acknowledged how Weibo plays and says, ultimately, we're okay. As long as we build a small lead in the early game, as long as we're stacking our Drakes, we could just lock in scaling here and get that scaling for free.
Yeah, and that definitely seems to be kind of the game plan here for JDG, is like, look, realistically, we don't mind if you guys don't want to do anything as SofM.
It's caught out here. It's going to be an Everfrost onto 2. Nicely played by Angel here. Has his ultimate available as in comes 369, but the spell shield ruins everything, and not much more going to come of this play. Nice little disengage from Weibo, but it is an opportunity to drop a Herald in this mid lane from Kanavi.
And we'll get some plates over to Yagao. I assume that this was going to go to Hope, because you're trying to get this AD carry kind of up and rolling as, again, like, be your main damage source, but looks like they're just happy to get Yagao ahead, make sure that he can reset, get that Everfrost, and try and set themselves up. But just coming back to the kind of the composition of points here, for, like, JDG, this is completely different to what we saw them do in the regular split against Weibo. When we look at the regular split, it was like the Jayces, the Ryze, the Kennons, they were like trying to be proactive in the early stage of the game. But for this style of JDG, it's like hands off, like, hey, look, we're just going to play for dragons and team fights, but we're under no pressure to get the ball rolling. And it certainly feels like this is kind of a tester from JDG, where they're like, hey, look, we beat you on these early mid-game spiking compositions. Now, if we just don't do anything, let's see how this one happens as well. And for JDG, it's kind of coming out trumps, right? 2 dragons without problems, Rift Tower without a problem, and you're already seeing the scaling starting to come through and paying dividends when they're just able to farm up.
And it feels like this comp, like you're saying, not only does well in the scaling, but also really, really good at ruining the champions from Weibo, right?
Yeah.
Angel, what does he want to do on Ahri? He wants to be mobile and try and find picks. Well, Veigar ruins that, Nautilus ruins that, even Kanavi can ruin that with the pillar. Same story for the Alistars, same story for the Nocturne, where they need to use that mobility. And it does, like, Alistar's headbutt gets completely denied by the Veigar cage. You're completely ruined if you're trying to make an engage happen through that, so we'll see if Weibo will be able to find opportunities, but once again, the way that Weibo likes to win the game is not necessarily through a standard 5v5, right? It's finding these picks, it's playing smart around the map. So we'll be keeping our eyes on how Weibo are able to move around and perhaps catch JDG out of position.
Well, this is where the, like, mid-game plan from JDG kind of hurts Weibo as well. Because, like, the way JDG play mid-game is, hey, we're going to push sides and instantly group mid. We are just going to 5-man deathball. And the whole reason for that is, look, they want to try and, like, outnumber you so they can take, like, mid lane turret, or they'll push you back underneath your tier 2 in mid. They can then establish vision control for the dragon. And, like, this has been something they've so consistently done. Now, I will say, with third dragon coming in just a minute and a half's time, JDG haven't been able to get these towers down in the same manner that they usually do. Like, they haven't been as proactive. So I'm curious to see now how they're going to try and get that vision control down. Now, they have some already established, but we'll have to see if they can hold on to that for the next minute's time.
Yeah, we'll have to see. SofM moved down to the bottom side, and Angel is here as well. Finally, Weibo pulling the trigger straight onto the AD carriers. The fear is there. Everfrost goes wide, but the damage is there from Angel. Hope is down. Hope is lost for JDG. Well, maybe I'm exaggerating, but it is a gold lead for Weibo at very least.
Look, that's your bias coming through, all right? They're totally fine. But realistically, nice job from Weibo. I think, honestly, we wanted to see some sort of proactivity from them. They make the pick on the side onto Hope, who again has kind of got to be the big carry. Angel is going to be all right here. But JDG at least should get mid lane turret off this Rift Herald.
Angel was some fancy foot with them, managing to dodge everything. I'm kind of impressed, honestly. But the Herald will finish that mid-tier 2. As you say, resets have come through from Weibo, so they'll be able to defend their mid-tier 2. But the tier 1 just go down. I think I said tier 2, actually, by accident there. But either way, 1 tower for the Herald coming out. It's 1 apiece on the scoreboard. It's a 1,000 gold lead, or 1,500 in favor of Weibo. But Drake up in 10 seconds, Dagda, and that's what JDG are all about.
Yeah, and the big thing here is, as we look at the replay of what happened, but think about all the ultimates that were used by Weibo. So you're seeing on this engage, SofM uses the ultimate, Angel uses the ultimate, and when we get into this dragon now, none of these ults are available. So Weibo do get the pick that they need, but as you can see in the bottom left picture, those ults for SofM are not up.
It's a 50-50. It's a 50-50, but Kanavi wins it. King Kanavi is in the river once more. On, going in for the play, flashes out, cleansing the CC, but he's pretty damn tanky, and Angel comes in over from the side. Huanfeng just firing away all this time, and missing will go down. There's one reset. 369 has to flash away the next target as he tries to look for a knockup, but everybody dodges it, and there's 2, both into the pocket of Huanfeng as Angel looks for more. Great little charm coming through there. Yagao low on HP, but there's no follow-up from the rest of the team. Angel having to flash away, 1 HP, and he goes down. And now the ult comes out from SofM. A fear as the shock blast from TheShy, and kills galore for Weibo as they take control in the mid-game.
And suddenly there's a 3,000 gold lead for Weibo. Messy stuff from JDG, not able to get themselves set up properly to try and take that fight. And Weibo punish. They get the kills, they get some much needed gold, won't get the mid lane turret, but still, Weibo, that was exactly what they needed. You'll see here in the replay, so early smite from SofM gives JDG the dragon, but here, On goes in, and JDG then need to just start to back away. Like, you got the objective that you need for, you know that you want to scale, like, you don't need to take this fight, but they're throwing everything in the kitchen sink at the ulted Alistar, so then when they get to this stage, you can see the Yagao, the Event Horizon, not exactly the greatest there, not being able to disengage properly, and because of that, Weibo are just able to chase down JDG this whole time, use that range that we talked about.
And, you know, I think that this is a Weibo squad that have been practicing their athletics here, because when you try and run away from this team, you're going nowhere. They're going to chase you down. The resets on the Jinx, the resets on the Ahri, the ult from the Nocturne, and then accelerated shock blasts as well. There is no escaping. If Weibo starts to win a fight, you don't get to run away.
And that's why as JDG, you just need to back out faster. Like, you needed to go, right, we got what we came for, let's just hop away. Even if one person goes down, it's not the end of the world, but I mean, losing that many members of your team is just giving so much gold over the way. But and again, when I come back to like TheShy here, we said that this guy was going to be very quickly accelerated, like already has 2 items. This guy's accelerated shock blasts are hitting like a truck when they land.
Yeah, he's like 3 auto attacks away from having that Muramana as well, which it's a huge moment. It's a huge spike in any game for anyone that can use that. Any Ezreals, any Jayces, these guys are champions. They love that moment in the game. So now Angel moving down to the bottom side, and you can see that Weibo will start to play this kind of 1-3-1 style to an extent. Ahri very, very good in the side lane, as is Jayce.
And it also makes it difficult for JDG to do what they want, right? Like, if you're pushing in with TheShy on one side, Angel on the other, and now you've got to, like, spread out as JDG, because 369 has to match TheShy, Yagao has to match Angel, well, this 5v5 becomes a little bit more difficult. Now, the good news for JDG fans is you did get the Dragon in that engagement. You've now got Mountain Soul on the cards, and it's just one steal away. This composition for JDG with Mountain Soul is absurd. So, for Weibo, they really need to make sure they are doing damage with this mid game now. Getting control of sides, getting down this mid lane turret so they can establish that vision control, so they can deny JDG access to river, so it never becomes that 50-50 moment for that dragon.
Yeah, honestly, if 369 gets a Mountain Soul, nobody's ever killing him ever again. It's not even Kraken Slayer on Huanfeng, right? He's gone for the Gale Force. I think Weibo have also acknowledged that they are never killing this Sion if he gets the Mountain Soul. It's all about denying that soul, as you say, not having to deal with it at all. 20 minutes on the clock. Is SofM getting a little cheeky with it? 369 up in this top side. This is not a dive that can happen. They do not have the damage to kill that Sion.
I was kind of looking at it going, do you really think this is the way you want to go forward, lads? I don't think that's going to end well for anyone, but it means that you've already invested time onto this top side, so Weibo, they're just going to try and bait the Baron.
Yeah, just start it off. Why not? No contest from JDG means a Baron for Weibo, but Kanavi moving over, a TP being channeled as well, as here they come in waves. Weibo trying to deny the entrance here, and 369 just getting absolutely wiped off of the face of the earth. And the rest of JDG just never move in, never get a chance to help their top laner out. TheShy getting kind of split from the rest of the team here, but it's 4v5, and Weibo, they got the pick they were looking for.
Yeah, it may have been onto the tank, but it still works out. JDG thinking, hey, look, we can just brute force our way in here and not paying out for them. Now you've got no Sion at the start of this dragon if Weibo can try and burst it out. He will have TP though, so for Weibo, you need to get into river. TheShy TPing into bot side, making sure they can get there ASAP. Can Weibo push back JDG?
We've got a TP available for 369. He's up in 5 seconds time. This is going to be a 5v5 again. As everyone moves in, Weibo need the fight right now. Kanavi trying to chase Angel out as he's in the mid lane right now. Huanfeng looking for his zaps. Hope just loses all of his HP, and Angel can chase him down over the wall. SofM there with him. AD carried down, but TheShy in the meantime has been taken on the other side of the play. And it's 3v4. Suddenly, JDG back in control, and this will be Soul. JDG with the teleport play, outplaying Weibo.
Weibo split up too much. They caught Hope and they lost. This is it. This is how we can do it. But they don't realize that they've lost Huanfeng on the opposite side. TheShy goes down, and we've been talking about, you know, Hope's going to be the big damage dealer. Hope is going to be the main DPS. Look at Kanavi's build. Kanavi is a damaged Trundle. This troll is hurting like hell when he swings his hammer, and unfortunately Huanfeng and TheShy found out. Hope here buys so much time though. Like, the fact that he got the flash from SofM and also forces Angel just buys so much space for JDG on this bottom side of the fight, and they're able to win that one out. Yagao as well doesn't even need to use the ultimate because the DPS is actually there from this Trundle.
I cannot believe Kanavi didn't die there. He went down to like 100 HP, and then TheShy went for his melee combo. I have genuinely no idea where the sustain came from on Kanavi, aside from the fact he just is Trundle. Like, absolutely a mental sustain coming through. The fact that he survived that is mind-blowing to me. But now we're in a position where JDG have that Mountain Soul. This is the thing that we talked about before. 369 on the Sion is going to be indestructible. And really, like, what damage can they do? Ahri, I don't think so. Missing, trying to escape from the plate is 369. Literally not lost his shield yet. That's the full combo. And he barely loses his shield. On the other side of that, triple knockup, nicely done there, but there's no follow-up. There's no way to kill Hope, or is there? SofM into the play, but he's alone, and Huanfeng just doesn't have the damage. Where's the rest of the team? TheShy is in the river for some reason.
Yeah, TheShy was pushing out bots, and now he's kind of come in towards this fight, but I don't know. This is where I'm kind of like, Weibo, this was the problem. If you weren't going to be proactive, you're going to get outscaled, and JDG now, too tanky.
Oh, Angel. Oh no. Oh, it's all gone wrong. Huanfeng has to Gale Force away. I think they're all right on this one. TheShy with an accelerated gate. That's a charm coming on through. Flame Chomper's underneath him. Look, he doesn't take damage. He's still on 2/3 of his HP. That was all three of them firing away, and he just walks away happily.
Yeah, and I mean, he's just going to look for the reset. JDG weren't able to get the Baron though. We're trying to see if they could bait Huanfeng in. Still aware that like sitting in Baron against Weibo isn't the best of ideas because you've got so much poke coming from Huanfeng, TheShy. Like you still gotta kind of be careful of the damage that can churn out from Weibo's side. But here, I mean, Weibo tried to engage onto Missing, but not realizing, hey, look, Missing, thanks to that Mountain Dragon, very tanky. 369 is here, just waiting in the wings. And as soon as everyone shows up, I mean, they're on the retreat here, Weibo.
Yeah, Angel had used everything on 369 as well, like, and basically achieved nothing on that one. They thought they could get onto Hope, but absolutely not. And now like, Hope now. Sorry,
369 hasn't even built magic resist. 369 is just gone. I don't care what this Ahri does. Like, our Angel's gone for like the single target damage build with the Horizon focus in there, but you just never get through 369.
Yeah, I mean, no, but like I like that Weibo at least have acknowledged that. They've said, look, we're not killing 369. Nobody try and kill 369. Let's just acknowledge that that ain't happening. On, you got to be real careful here, buddy, because JDG are all hiding in the bushes on the one that has to face check. Huanfeng really wants this red buff, but I don't know if that's going to happen. TPs from both teams. It's a full-on fiesta in the jungle here. 5 strong for JDG. SofM on the top side of the play. He can't really get in, and he's already used his paranoia. Weibo do get the red buff in the end.
And it's just about establishing vision here on this top side as well. Now JDG know where Weibo are trying to move into, and maybe looking to cut off TheShy and Angel on this bottom side.
Maybe, but 369 has been caught, and look at that. It's only 4 hours that Huanfeng was attacking, and they managed to do a quarter of his health. Impressive stuff. We need some armor pen from Huanfeng.
Yeah,
ASAP.
I was going to say Infinity Edge may not be the best call as second item, because like Huanfeng, you are never ever going to get past 369 to deal damage to this back line, so you really need to get that last whisper. But JDG, feeling confident now. They just go, hey, look, we've got mega tanks, we've got mega damage. What are you going to do, Weibo?
Let's see the rocket from Huanfeng. That's the only way this is going to happen, unless SofM can make a miracle flash steal happen. Ward into the pit. 369 will take a little bit of damage, gets into the pit himself on flashing away. Angel is behind enemy lines right here. Kanavi the target, but On's just going to go down. He can't tank forever like 369 can. The train goes slightly wide. TheShy the target as he knocks 369 towards his AD carry. Huanfeng has been hitting 369 this entire time. He's completely indestructible. Angel does a little bit of nothing over the wall. And JDG, I mean, this is the playground.
I mean, you're just completely outscaled here, Weibo. You said you needed to make plays happen early. You needed to get the ball rolling, and we saw basically nothing. And that's what JDG were expecting. That's what they were playing towards. And now JDG are reaping the benefits. SofM can't even get into the pit.
I thought he was going to go for it. I was so sure he would go for that one. Dropped the ward, but didn't go for the flash smite. And JDG managed to hold on, managed to get themselves a Baron. And still, gold lead, barely anything. They're 1,000 gold ahead of this game because there have been barely any towers that have gone down. But with this Baron, that's their opportunity and window to start to get those towers.
Yeah, and it's going to basically be cutting through paper here. Like, there's so much standing gold on the map that this only becomes worse now for Weibo. Like, Warmog's completed for 369. Hope has only got 2 items, so when he ends up getting up to a third as well, he's going to end up hitting like a truck. And you can see here, right, like, Huanfeng, is he hurting 369? Like, I actually am not sure.
I think that's just the red buff.
Yeah.
That's the true damage off of the red buff that's doing the damage.
Yeah. So I don't know, Huanfeng. I think you really needed to index into some armor pen earlier. And it's kind of too late now, right? Yes, you've got the Infinity Edge finish, but Baron, Elder Dragon, is on a really good flank here, though, if he can get on towards Hope.
It wouldn't be the first Dragon to be 50-50 this game, but I don't think JDG need to go for 50-50. SofM uses the paranoia on in the backline. Great headbutt, and they finish off Yagao. Maybe an opportunity here. Angel low on HP. Huanfeng knocked up. 369 actually getting low in this one, but not low enough. The rest of the team is already down from Weibo. Double kill for Hope. They couldn't kill both carries. Angel back into the play once more, but Hope! He just wipes Huanfeng off of the map. It's Hope's turn to shine.
And that was why you needed to focus Hope on. You needed to look at the AD carry and go, this is the damage. This is the guy we actually need to take down. But instead, he headbutts Yagao in. And Yagao goes in the wings of an angel and says, Hope, take it home. Dragon now over towards JDG. They still have so much control in this game. The wave will pop up with the Baron buff. And Weibo, what do you do? It's all gone to pieces.
Yagao is laid gently over that great toothbrush in the sky. But JDG will remember as they push in the mid lane. They've got Baron. They've got Elder. I don't think there's much left in this one for Weibo. In game number 1, JDG have pulled out a bit of a masterclass in the draft, right? Acknowledging exactly what they're up against, exactly what Weibo likes to do, and playing around that. And it's worth mentioning as well, Hom, he was one of the coaches on Samsung White that won Worlds back in 2014. And what was that team known for? The masterclasses in the draft and in terms of map play. And it feels like we're seeing that from JDG is missing a target here. But I don't think they can finish anyone off. There goes on. See you later, buddy. Another tower falls, and you just can't fight against the Elder Dragon, especially when 369 is still completely invincible. But Weibo trying to count it out, trying to finish some people off. Kanavi is low. This will be a second inhib taken. Is there anything available for Weibo? They've gone 1-for-1 so far in the fight against Elder, which you got to give them some credit for, but I don't think it matters.
No, not at all. JDG are fully in their comfort zone. All the dragons and the Elder Dragon, them being able to late game team fight, this is exactly what JDG thrive in. And you can see here on, this was a gorgeous idea. You needed to go for the Aphelios though. Like, this is the actual damage dealer that you got to be worried about, but unfortunately wasn't sure where Hope was, didn't really have the angle to try and headbutt him back into the team. And yes, they get Yagao, but look at the damage that Hope is dealing. You'd even see it here. Huanfeng caught out a little bit by that damage as well.
Yeah, I mean, he literally got 3-shot. I don't think anyone would be expecting that. That's the power of having the crescendum when you've got Moonlight Vigil up as well. You get so many chakrams and you just one-shot people. And Yagao as well. Like, we've not really talked about Yagao so far this game. He's very much a feast or famine mid laner, and he's more than happy to take the back seat when he needs to. And I feel like Yagao has evolved so much as a player over the last 2 years. When you think to the 2020 JDG that we keep likening this squad to, Yagao was like the Zoe LeBlanc guy. Those were the picks. Those were the ways that he could influence the game. But it feels like he has so many counter picks available now. He's so willing to be flexible at the draft.
I think the biggest thing for me is like seeing him start to change the way he works on wave management to facilitate Kanavi. Like, that was something that was really missing from 2021 JDG, but you'll see it even in this game. Like, at the start, he was managing his wave state so JDG could set up for these early dragons, and look where it's got them now. I mean, they're battling down the base of Weibo, and Weibo will have no more inhibitors as soon as this one goes down.
I mean, Weibo is struggling to kill even the super minions. Like, we thought 369 was hard to kill. I can't even get through the minions. Never mind 369, never mind a Sion. Huanfeng in the base. I'm not sure if he's got any armor pen just yet, but I doubt it at this stage, as he's not had much chance to get more gold. Maybe a Last Whisper, but certainly not a Lord Doms. And look at 369's health bar, man. Like, I'm pretty sure he can 1v5 at this point. He's completely indestructible. On headbutts him away, as it is just the game of attrition. This is like tower defense. Weibo are literally playing Super Monkey defense right now. I can't remember what the game's called, but there's one tower going down here. The monkeys are winning. JDG pushing forwards as On uses his ultimate to try and keep himself safe. Kanavi low on HP, and Angel off in the wings as well. Bit of threat towards JDG. There's Moonlight Vigil used as well. The waves are being slowly but surely cleared here. Here comes Paranoia. Can JDG hold off the engage? SofM trying to find a way in, as is Angel behind the play, but Paranoia times out. There was no entrance from Weibo, and now Kanavi 2v1 on the backside. Yagao moves in as well, but Hope's already got a kill on the top side of the play. The carries are falling. Hope takes them down one by one. The Nexus is eradicated, and JDG, I mean, that was just clean. That was so clean from start to finish.
I mean, look, they finally managed to kill 369. All he had to do was walk into the base fountain. It was great. That was all that was needed to finally get through this Sion. And look, this was the problem that I saw coming through for Weibo. Was like, this is not a team that is proactive in the early stages. We said already, like, a lot of what they do is thrive on mid-game picks, but when you're going to pick a draft like this, you need to make sure that you are taking over the game in those early stages. And unfortunately for Weibo, slow-paced early and mid-game lends itself to JDG with the uber scaling composition.
Yeah, and also just a great draft at denying the potential proactivity from Weibo as well, right? We talked about the fact that Ahri basically can't do anything against Yagao's Veigar. Like, the event horizon is such a huge pain for Ahri to deal with. Felt like Huanfeng, I mean, again, we can criticize Huanfeng's build, but realistically, in this composition, even against the Veigar cages that are going to be coming up, missing hooks all the time, Kanavi with a Pillar of Filth, really difficult for anyone on Weibo's side to get any damage off, aside from maybe the accelerated shock blasts.
Yeah, and whoever does happen to squeeze their way through all those gaps, I mean, you're just getting ulted by Kanavi anyway, so you end up dying nearly instantly. So it was just so difficult for this composition to operate. And it's, again, why I wasn't the biggest fan of the Nocturne. I kind of saw the way that this draft was going. I was like, oh, this is not going to work out. And as you can see, I mean, yes, the damage dealt was more on Huanfeng, more on TheShy, but that's just because there was more of a health bar in 369 for them to try and wail away at.
Yeah, absolutely brutal. Honestly, I can't believe Huanfeng did more damage than Hope. That's my biggest takeaway, is like, how the hell did Huanfeng do more damage than Hope? I guess, arguably, he gets to build his damage numbers because he gets to hit 369 for so long in those fights. Yeah. Like, he just has a ball of meat to just blast shots into, because sure, your autos are only doing 30 damage, but he did about 400 million autos against 369. So, you know, it all adds up. Doesn't matter, though. Weibo getting absolutely wiped off of game number 1. And JDG showing that they are no slouches. They want to keep their win streak going from the regular